Hello, Sambazaji. This is Sambaza with the Sambaza Podcast. And today we are looking at yet another podcast. This is for the month of March, where I do a podcast challenge where I listen to one new podcast in the African continent for the next 30 days. Now, today we are going to look at a podcast called Destination Morocco. When I went to this podcast, I figured there was something strange about this podcast. Strange in the sense that I had found it over StreamYard and watched a couple of episodes, but this was on the video part. So I listened to maybe 30 minutes of one podcast. But this time, remember, it's audio podcast only. And I listened to two of the podcasts. One was by a guy who was I'll, I forget the name. Ilwet. He is from Ilwet. Now, actually, Adzin, who is the host, I hope I'm not butchering your name, is also from Ilwet. Now, this is the south. Most people go talk about the north of Morocco. He's from the south, and he was talking to this villager who was really speaking about his home country and the place where he's at and how they were able to talk about the interesting facets about Morocco. You want to listen to this particular one because it has a cultural sense of meaning to that particular podcast and Morocco itself. If you intend to visit Morocco, this is a podcast for you. Now, the second one was kind of like a twist. And I like this about podcasting where people change the way you do your podcast. Well, he brought about somebody else to ask him. So the guest became the host and he became the guest of the show, and he was being asked questions about what do you need to do in Morocco, places to visit, and all that good stuff. That was a great episode. What I'll say about these episodes are that Azin, look, I enjoy this podcast. When I listen to you talking to the guy from Morocco, from Ilwet, from your town, there was a connection there. And then I was wondering, wow, this could be a great book for travel, for people who want to know what the travel is to Morocco, even before you get there. There were a lot of gems and very historical to start off with. And I don't know, what I'll say is this is worth listening to. Great podcast if you want to travel to that destination, and he gives you a broad perspective of travel. Now, with that, was Sambazaji, I will say go get to listen to this podcast. And also, the thing is, you don't have to go there. Just listening to it will tell you how Morocco is, and maybe one day you might decide to go there yourself. With that, was Sambazaji. It's another day, and I'll see you again for another review. Bye, Wasam Bazaji, and Destination Morocco podcast. That is one to watch out for.